Okay, we are live.
We
Good
are
evening,
live.
everybody. Yes, good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Black Comic Lords Live. On tonight, we are in the building, and I am your host, Mr. Richard Wright, OG Richard the Panther Hearted, aka will tell your creator body self, aka Dollar Ben Beats, aka just your boy. Anyway, so tonight we are here live and we're going to be talking Black Comic Lords. It's our end of the year show, and we are thankful and grateful to be here. I want to welcome each and every one of you that are here. With me tonight, we have a few people in the building. We want to introduce to you, present to some, the engine of Black Comic Lords. My man Derek, we got him in the building. We got Tamiko in the building, and we got Mr. Paul in the building. His Panther Paul to some of y'all, Mr. Panther Paul to all you haters out there. So anyway,
Of which there
we
are
are
many.
we are here, and tonight we are going to talk comics, but we're going to talk end of the year stuff. Y'all, please bear with me as I try to get these things in order. Want to just take you right now, introduce to who the Black Comic Lords are. We review, we promote, we educate on, and we celebrate Black comic book characters, heroes, books, and or Black comic book creatives. So if you read Black comic books, if you are a Black comic book creator, we celebrate and we honor you if you're nice. That's just a joke. But anyway, above all else, though, it's all about the comics. That's what we do here. We don't do a lot of nerd stuff. We don't do no anime. We don't do no cosplay. All we do is talk about these books, how good they are, how good the art is, how good the story is. So, with that in mind, on tonight, we are going to talk about, some news. We're going to talk about Staff's top picks tonight. We're going to have a giveaway, so stay tuned for that. We do have an announcement later on in the show, so we hope you guys get comfortable. Want you guys to chime in, let us know you're in the building as well. And so let me just go around the room. I just want each of you young people, because I think I'm the oldest in the room, all you young people whose smiling faces, I want you just to introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are. I've already said enough, so please, Derek, if you don't mind, you take it away.
All right. My name is Derek Harrison. I'm probably the youngest in terms of actually being a fan of comics. I got into it just a few years ago, but really happy to be part of this group. And I've been helping out a lot with some of the technical ventures behind the scenes. So great to be here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Mr. Miko.
All right. Hello, hello. Great day. I am Tamiko Patton, your friendly neighborhood moderator. I'm a comic head, Black Comic Lord. I've been reading and collecting comics since I was 12. So this is what I do. This is my thing. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be with my other fellow lords and enjoy the night.
That's what's
Hey
up.
everyone,
Mr. Paul.
I'm Paul. I'm not an alcoholic. Just been collecting comic books since I was reading comic books since I was 4, collecting basically all my life. Big Black Panther fan, and that's about it.
And I am yours truly, Richard Wright. I have been collecting comics since I was about 8, 9 years old, and I've been around for a few years. And so, I'm hanging out with the young people because they say you're not. It doesn't matter how many years you guys are. You're young at heart, and so I'm old enough to know better, but too young to care. If that makes any sense. So, that's being said, let's talk about the year in 2021. First, before we get there, I want to acknowledge and our fellow comic book lord who is watching behind the scenes and is cheering us on, no doubt, and that is Herschel. Herschel is our founder. It's Herschel Lewis. Some of y'all might know him as Herschel Variant. We have a few names for him, but we really can't say that on air. But suffice to say, that's our guy, and we want to shout him out. Want to say Happy New Year to you. So he won't be with us on tonight, but he is here in spirit. So I wanted to just acknowledge him as well. So, 2021, guys. I'm going to just ask each of you. I'm gonna go around the room because I really want us to kind of, enjoy the night, take our time, but it also, I want it to be a celebration. But I'm just going to ask a question. This is audible, but I'm going to ask you if you describe your 2021 in one word. Give us that word and tell us why. Let's not all answer the same.
I mean, you didn't tell us ahead of time that was going to be the question.
That's the point.
In one word.
Feet, in one word, if you can.
Breathe.
Why?
You couldn't breathe last year.
Yeah. This is true.
So I guess the better word probably be exhale.
Exhale. Yeah. We did have Derek Chauvin did get convicted this year. He got what 28 years, what it was. So that we did get a chance to exhale in that. What about you, Tamika?
My word would be awesome, because this was truly an awesome year for comic collectors and for comics, period. I mean, even with all the COVID shenanigans, we did get some really good stuff this year. And I am happy, and my budget is ridiculous. And we have lots of good stuff to talk about.
That's what's up.
Yep.
That's what's up. What about you, Derek?
And I guess for me, if there's one word I'd pick, probably say Renaissance, because I've heard a few people mention that. I feel like there's more works coming from Black creatives, and then more Black stories as well coming out, which I definitely like to see. So that's the word I'd use.
Gotcha. My word is blessed, because I saw a lot of things happen this year. I'm grateful just to be here. I helped assist bury my best friend. I lost a gentleman that I mentored in the ministry this year. I saw a lot of people leave this planet this year. And for that, I'm grateful and blessed, just because I'm still here to do work. I'm still here to celebrate and enjoy this crazy, beautiful world that we have. So blessed, absolutely. So anyway, now let's talk news. Let's talk about the comic news 2021. Okay, so what comes to mind when we talk about comic news this year?
Comic news specifically? I mean, I would say the biggest story of the year for me would hands down be the return of Milestone Comics. Milestone, I don't know of any comic book company that has had a larger impact on the concept of multiculturalism in comics,
right?
In a larger sense, in the mainstream, and to me personally, than Milestone. Milestone was the company and the movement that revolutionized the way that I collected comics, and what I looked for in what I considered to be a good comic book. It was a long time coming, and there was a lot of bumps in the road, but I am ecstatic to have them back. And back in such a good fashion. So I've been terribly excited about the return of Milestone.
Yeah, man. That I gotta say that that news about Milestone, what, 3 decades, 3 decades in running.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a welcome addition to comics. I definitely appreciate the return of Milestone. I am hoping that what we got this year has been great, but I hope that 2022 will be even greater because we're going to get a Blood Syndicate run. I am ecstatic for that, and that's what's up. So, anybody else as far as news, comic news?
I'd have to agree with Paul on that one because Milestone was really, really, really important. I had the comics, gave them away to my nieces and nephews, and then decided in this year of the pandemic to recollect them all. And I'm almost done. And it's amazing how we are able to connect on things that some people think trivial, or some people think that they're not important, they're just comic books and they're not the best things. But Milestone was definitely the best thing for us so that we would have the proper representation in this world.
It's not just that, because there are plenty of comics that you can go to that has black people in them. There's plenty of black independent comics that are out there.
Right.
But what makes Milestone unique is, on top of having completely original characters, you had some of the top black creators in the business working on this successfully. Milestone only ended not because of readership, but because of internal problems they were having. If you want to know why and want to know more about that, check out Paperbacks and Soundtracks, the Ivan Velez interview. But Milestone was literally 30 years ahead of the curve. I would say they're probably still ahead of most of the curves, but in terms of having original characters, people of color, black people, multiracial people, multi-ethnic people, multi-gendered people, sexual orientation, everything. Milestone was doing that 30 years ago before that was even a concept. Their return, and in such a when I say in such a fashion, because what really sort of give you an idea as to how big this is was at DC Fandom this year. And when you saw that with the plans that they have going on, first of all, just the fact that DC took a big part of their segment to specifically do a special just on Milestone, that was big and by itself, because DC wasn't promoting Milestone like that back in the day. So they carved out a specific segment just dedicated to Milestone. And then what they revealed as to what their upcoming plans, it's big. I mean, they're talking movies, they're talking cartoons, they're talking merch, all the things that you need to change the game. What do I mean by change the game? Think about how comics were before the Black Panther movie, right? Or our society was. When little, black boys and girls want to dress up for Halloween, they didn't really have a bunch of black costume characters to choose from. After that, they did. Seeing little kids walking around with the Black Panther lunchbox, seeing little kids dress up as Black Panther or Shuri or Okoye for Halloween. All the toys that are out there. The fact that these characters are household names of these children. I didn't have that growing up like that. I mean, black characters existed in comics, but they weren't promoted the way they are now. At least with Black Panther anyway. But Milestone makes the difference maker from just simply being the Black Panther people, the people that have sort of jumped onto the bandwagon of Black Panther, to expanding that and making Static and Icon and Rocket and Hardware and the Blood Syndicate, making those household names. If they're able to do that, that changes the game for everybody. Marvel will be able to reap the benefit off of the coattails of what Milestone is doing. Everyone will. Mainstream and DC will benefit from that because people will see what is possible when you dare to think bigger than the box that you have been put in. That's Milestone Comics.
Okay. What about you, Derek?
I'll be honest. Paul stole mine, but he said it much more eloquently than I ever could have. So I'll just add to that the program to support and nurture creatives that Milestone is driving forward. That's a piece of the news is really important too. So there was nothing else that could come close, from my viewpoint. If I could take a minute though, I just want to do a quick shout out to those who have kind of talked to us a little bit in the chat. So Herschel has joined us, as well as let's see, Dwayne Hamlet. Thank you for joining, Dwayne. And we got a message from Amani as well. So thank you so much.
That's what's up. So for me, Milestone definitely was key. But we got to go way back in 2021, and we got to go way back in Black History Month because that's when we got. Bless you. That's when we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier that premiered on Disney Channel, on Disney Plus. I think that was a very, very critical. Say what you want about Falcon taking the Captain America shield, but that was big in terms of the story that they told. When we're talking about Isaiah Bradley, we're talking about Malcolm Spellman doing his thing, representing the culture. That was huge. And the fact that Anthony Mackie is going to be wearing the shield, in the next Captain America #4 Disney MCU movie, it's just amazing to me. Now, without getting into politics and things of that nature, I think that was really, really big because, and I still stand on my square when it comes to whether Falcon is, or should I say, Captain America, Sam Wilson, Captain America is the legitimate Captain America. I believe that Falcon is the guy. He didn't have to be Captain America. Falcon is fine as Falcon. I think it's a step down. That's just me personally. But I respect it, and I like the story that Malcolm Spellman, the showrunner, ran when it came to Isaiah Bradley. I think that it was a talking point. It was a talking point for us. White folks weren't talking about it, but we sure was. Those of us that know the comics truth, red, black, and white. Is it that? Is it red, white? Yeah, red, black, white, and truth, or whatever. Red, white, and black. Okay, but those of us that know the comics and know that story were very appreciative. For nothing else, that they would do that they would actually talk about this character, and that he was very central to Falcon and his struggle with the shield. So for me, as far as news or whatever, I think that the Falcon and Winter Soldier 6-part Disney Plus show was amazing. We got action. We got to see him and the Winter Soldier buddy up and have issues and whatever. We saw the Dora Milaje beat the crap out of John Walker. He said they didn't even have guns. So that was pretty cool for me. Yeah, so that was my favorite talking point, I guess, for 2021. For sure.
That's a really good point, Rich. I don't think enough can be said as to how well Malcolm Spellman did on the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. if you were to ever ask me prior to this year, what's the one comic book storyline that Marvel would never put in a television show, it sure as hell would have been Truth, Red, White, and Black. And for him to be able to adapt that to the screen, well,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't perfect. I mean, but perfect would have been, going into more details and stuff that would have made a lot of people feel very uncomfortable. But he put enough that you got the point. He put enough powerful moments. And more importantly, he addressed questions that we as comic book fans talk about all the time.
Right.
The concept of legacy. That line, he summed it up so perfectly by having that line that no self-respecting black man would ever want to put on that suit and carry that shield. That summarizes the entire argument for a lot of people about legacy characters. And Sam Wilson never really, this is my one criticism, Sam Wilson never really addressed the question, why didn't you take the shield? I mean, they kind of alluded to it here and there, but you never see him specifically answer the question. I mean, he defines it more by his actions, by ultimately picking up the shield, but he never states verbally why was he hesitant to pick up the shield. And that's good.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that the character Isaiah Bradley says that no self-respecting black man would wear that. And I think that's something that resonated with a lot of us as far as black men in America.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I would say about that. He was the only one, in my opinion, qualified to say that because he actually wore it.
Yeah.
He actually had to. He actually tasted that bitter cup of having it and having his life snatched from him because he did. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And I think that's how Sam was able to kind of like put the uniform on, because if he had to step in his shoes, it'd have been that much more difficult for him to answer that question, Paul. So you know what I'm saying? I love that show because guess what? People talk about the Disney shows. They talk about Loki, how great it was. They talk about WandaVision, how great it was. They talk about Hawkeye, how great it was. And they don't look like us. We're the only ones that are just talking about Falcon and Winter. We're the only ones that still having that conversation.
Best Disney Plus show.
Exactly. Because for them to talk about it, you got to talk about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. You got to talk about where they got that actual story from and the super soldier serum and all that. What pot did y'all scoop that out of? And so again, anything that you know what, I'm not going to say that. All I'm going to say is this: that when you turn history on its ear in art, shout out to Michael Spellman because he did. That's what's up, y'all. But anyway, that's news for us as far as the rest of the year. Now we also know that there's a paper shortage, and we might get some comic books late. We did get that news at the end of the year. But I would add one book. You talked about Milestone, but the one book that I was happy that they announced was Black Manta.
Oh, we'll get into that.
For Black Manta is too good. when that run is over, we are going to have to do a show just on Black. Shout out to Chuck Brown. Shout out to that brother. I'm gonna give him 5 on the black hand side. You feel me? Because it's amazing. I'm serious. That story is amazing. And here's the thing about reason why I wanted to say that is because the mythos that they're actually going into that can actually have legs.
Yes.
And I'm hoping to allow Jackson Hyde that mythos really comes out, that mythology, that history that they are starting to show us and uncover, that they really peel back that onion. Because if they don't, they're going to do that character Jackson Hyde a disservice. Because to me, Chuck Brown, he really started something. And I'm just hoping that they really allow him and the creators over at DC to run with the ball.
Save some for later. Save some for later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So anyway, we're going to move right along, and we're going to talk about, since we're talking 2021, we are going to talk about our favorite comics in 2021. Now, I don't know what you guys' list is like, top 5, but so for those of you that are watching us, those in the chat, we would like you to also participate with us. If you could, as possible, put in your favorite 5 comic books that you're reading or read this year in 2021. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down the room. We're going to start at number 5 and work our way to number 1.
So we have to have them ranked? Damn.
Well, I mean, you only got, just look at what you got and just figure it out, okay? You can figure it out. So, ladies first. So, Tamika, my queen, would you start us off? What is your number 5 book for this year that you read?
Number 5. Sword.
Sword number 8? Is that sword number 8?
This is sword number 6, actually.
Number 6. Okay.
But this is only really because of the cover of the Regent of Soul. They terraform Mars, the mutants terraform Mars, and she's in charge.
Colonized.
Yeah. Listen, put some respect on the name of Storm.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
what's up.
Yes, indeed.
So she's had a really, really good year. I mean, starting off in X-Men, and after all the reboots and the Jonathan Hickman series, she's come into her own now. She's the Omega level mutant, and everybody now has to respect her because she is the boss.
Yeah, shout out to Jerry Duggan, who's doing a good job putting Storm in a place better where she should be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Amen.
Right? That's
okay, Derek, could you give us your number 5?
Yeah, so I might be violating the rules a little bit because this first one is more of a cover than a story, but I just have to put that one on here. Miles Morales, DJ cover, Iron Man 12.
I was talking about
Derek out here flexing. Derek's out doing the flex.
I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. What about you, Paul? What you got, bro? What you got?
I didn't actually go through my boxes because that's my comic collection's in a bit of disarray because I'm reorganizing right now. But I did make a list.
Well, just give us what your number 5.
Let me see if I can figure out this screen share. I don't know if this is in any particular order. Let me do this. Hold on. Let me go. Let me do an honorable mention. All right. Let me share my screen.
I love Negroes that break protocol.
I'm sharing my screen on my honorable mention, which is this. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
You can see something.
Yeah. Oh, good. I can't tell if you can see it or not. All right. So
Okay.
Nubia and Amazon's number 1 is my honorable mention for top 5. Nothing in particularly groundbreaking happens in this issue, but it has to be mentioned for a number of reasons. One, Nubia, this is her first run. DC, prior to this book, DC has never had a singular Black woman character with her own run before, other than Dixon in 2006. And Nubia's been around a long time. For her not to have her own run is just criminal. And DC is really putting a big glow up on Nubia. What I loved about this issue was the homage that they paid to George Perez, the great George Perez, in the run that he did on Wonder Woman #1. I think it was, right? #1. Back in 1987, in which he said where he sort of retconned and redefined who the Amazons were. He introduced the concept of the Well of Souls, where he actually called it a Cavern of Souls, I think. And more importantly, it was in his run that you got to find out the Amazons weren't all white. He's the one that introduced that. So, very significant book. They paid homage to that. And I don't know. It was significant just historically for that. So that's my honorable mention. My number 5 was what Richard just mentioned, which is this, Black Manta. Black Manta #3, specifically. Black Manta #3 is where Chuck Brown basically did a retcon of who the Atlanteans are, but without doing a retcon. And this is what I find brilliant, because this was also done with another one of my picks, which we'll talk about later. I love when they do these, when you have these writers that do retcons without actually doing retcons, by simply exploring a corner of the pre-established universe that has just not been looked at. Taking a flashlight into the corner and saying, well, here's something you haven't seen. It's always been there, you just haven't seen it. And that's what Chuck Brown did in Black Manta #3, in which he helped you realize that there are another species or race or peoples, Atlantean peoples, that don't look all like Aquaman. And the ramifications and implications of that are significant. So much so that I think that's probably what's led to this limited series being made into an ongoing series called Aquaman in a few months. So pretty cool. So that's my number 5 in my honorable mention.
Could I just point out just a few of the comments here?
Can you stop there?
Yeah. Hey, just wanted to mention a few comments. So I have Austin Crafton mentioned reading Legends of Black Panther 1, Blue Marvel Icon, Rocket, Static Storm. So and then Dwayne Hamlet, Luke Cage, Reign of Fire is his pick. Just pointing out.
Which is canceled, so yeah.
We can wish.
Hey, you got a bootleg copy? Send me the link, my brother. Send me the link.
There's a bootleg copy somewhere.
5. You know that.
And that's the thing. Let's just throw a quick thing on that. Why can't they release that digitally? If you don't trust it, you don't want to put the book out, why not just release it digitally, at least? They got the platform to do it. It costs them nothing.
Because nobody's going to buy it. They
don't have to buy it. They can release it digitally for the fans. They have comics on the Marvel Unlimited website.
Marvel's in the business to make money. Don't you know that the Disney owns Marvel, and there's not a bigger pimp than Mickey Mouse. So you can forget that, bro. His pimping is pimping. So anyway, my number 5 is for his 2021 reads is this book here, Nita Hawes, Nightmare Blog. This is issue number 1.
Cover too.
Mm-hmm.
And this book, let me just see if I can put out the glare. Anyway, but this book here, Rodney Barnes, shout out to the legend, is doing his thing on this book. This is only 2 issues in, but I had to add it to as far as top books, because this is a very spooky book. This if you think Killadelphia is spooky, this will probably give you nightmares. So And a lot of people collect covers, and some of the covers on these books are very disturbing. So they need to put a warning tag on some of these books because they are very, very, very spooky. Needless to say, but it's a dope story, and it's a part of the Killadelphia universe. So that's my
imagery is not something that you should probably read before you go to bed.
No. Shout out to Jason Sean Alexander for doing his thing. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna shout out to Jason Sean Alexander's parents for, as white as he is, has the coolest black name imaginable.
I think King Richard might have a day pass to the cookout for Jason Sean Alexander.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Look, he's one of my favorite artists, and I'd never seen the guy, and I just so happened to have a conversation. Shout out to Imani, and we kind of pointed this out, and I was like, so I went to go look and see the guy. I was like, oh yeah, that's a white guy. And
Imani says yes, he's got a black girlfriend.
Okay, so he coming to the cookout with a white guy. With a black.
So you don't need to give him an invitation. His girlfriend to bring him.
I don't need to give him a pass. He already got the pass. So, but he's one of my favorite artists, and his imagery is very, very haunting. And so some of the pictures that this guy does, him and Bill Sienkiewicz, I mean, man, they are serious with it. So, but shout out to Rodney Barnes, man. I mean, this has got, I don't know what he's going to do with Nita Hawes long term, but I'm definitely enjoying the story, and I'm hoping that along with Killadelphia, that they include that when they actually do the show, because that's the cool thing about. And shout out to you, Killadelphia fans, who got issue 1 and all the good, cool covers, because when that goes to production, all of you guys that did not know nothing about Killadelphia, you're going to cry. You're going to cry. And this will probably be the only time that your boy will get to stunt, because I have them all. I'll feel like Rico. And when Rico pull up, you know how Rico pulls up, he pulls out this book, that book. I don't know what it feels like that. It's gonna feel good to make somebody tuck their chain in instead of me tucking mine in. So anyway, that's my number 5. So Tamika, what you got for number 4 for us?
You're forgetting about Derek?
Oh, you know what? Derek did the cover. Unless you got a book, Derek.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No,
Is that your number 5? Your Iron Man?
That was my 5. Yeah, that was my 5. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nubia is my number 4. I was an on and off Wonder Woman collector. Some things I liked, some things I didn't. But the fact that she had a black sister, and they're black Amazons running around. So I figured, okay, I definitely have to get this because this is awesome. And then she's not only just a black Amazon, she's the queen of the Amazons.
Right.
Since Hippolyta decided she wanted to go traipsing in the man's world after her daughter. So this, of course, and of course, Paul pretty much gave most of my accolades with his honorable mention. So my number 4 is Nubia.
Can I throw something else on there? Richard, you actually put me on to something that a lot of people may not know. So anyone who's watching this should probably know that too. That this current iteration of Nubia is not the one that you have from Wonder Woman 204 from back in the day. This current iteration of Nubia, her first appearance is actually listed as Wonder Woman, what was it, 75, Richard?
75.
Wonder Woman 75. So if you want the first appearance of this current Nubia, you need to pick up that Wonder Woman 75. I'll also point out that the subsequent issues following that was a very good storyline And a very melanated storyline. They actually had several black Amazons in that storyline. So I highly recommend that.
Yes, indeed. You know what? Shout out to Future State, because Future State made this Nubia run possible. It was in Future State that Hippolyta decided to join the Justice League and crown Nubia the Queen of the Amazons, which makes that Future State book, Wonder Woman, I think it's Wonder Woman Immortal, part of the canon. So, all of you out there hating on Future State stuff, sorry, you missed out. We did get shout out to my Black Batman fans. So we do have that as well. But that book is probably going to have more significance just because this Nubia comes from that Future State run. And her, like I said, her first appearance is Wonder Woman 75. So that's what's up. That's dope. So anyway, Derek, what you got for us, number 4, sir?
All right, number 4. I'm going to preface this by saying the series is okay, but I think it's important because we want to reach our younger readers too in any way possible.
Right.
So I've got Web of Spider-Man number 1, and Kiba, and this is actually it's the Disney employee variant, so it's a tough one to find.
So you're on full flex today. That's basically
maybe so. But the reason this is significant is because we have 2 young black girl characters. We have Anome and Moon Girl, who are part of the World Engineering Brigade, a bigger group of young engineers. So if you think about anything we can do to encourage ourselves, our children to be play a greater role in STEM, this book helps there. I guess another thing that makes this book, from a speculation perspective, an important one is because you got this character Harley Keener, who was in Iron Man 3, and this is actually his first appearance as well. So yeah, so that variant potentially could blow up just because it's a hard one to find, especially in a really good condition. So okay story, but when you're thinking about reaching a desired audience where they are, then this book could do that. And by the way, Disney's made massive. I was going to say Disney's made a massive investment in their parks on these characters too. So another important thing there.
I enjoyed the Web of Spider-Man story. I thought it was pretty dope. It's something. It's very STEM friendly, in terms of getting kids into science, technology, mathematics. That stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff that you can make real money at, young people. So it is. I think of the Spider-Man stories because initially it came out late because this book was supposed to have been out, I think, a year ago, but of course COVID hit and it delayed everything. So, but yeah, don't sleep on the Web of Spider-Man. And plus our girl Lunella. I think is that how you say it?
Lunella Lafayette.
Yeah, Lunella Lafayette, or like they say down in Louisiana, Lafayette. She's in the book as well. So it was a fun book. It was a fun read, and it really was for kids or whatever. But I think adults can enjoy the story as well. So that's what's up. So anyway, Mr. Paul,
and the TPB just came out too. The trade paperback just came out a few weeks ago. If you want to get it for kids, $12, $13.
There you go, Mr. Paul. You're number 4.
Share my screen again.
Yeah, Derek on Flex, and he on his tech flex.
Yeah, Derek just this is my number 4.
These guys.
So Tomiko picked Sword number 6, which is cool. They sort of gave Storm her flower. Look, Marvel's really been doing, the X offices have finally I don't know if they're listening to fans, if there's been some type of shift, but they're finally starting to give Storm props. They haven't given her own book this year. She has a book that's supposed to come out next year, which is well overdue. But they have given her a lot of glow up this year. For those who have been living under a rock, she is now the regent of the mutant world, Araco, and a world in which she helped terraform, because her powers are not just Omega level, but they've basically said, the thing with Omega level mutants, people just say it's just a level or whatever. The term Omega level means that your powers don't technically have an upper limit. They can't chart what your upper limit is. Like, your powers can just keep flexing. As the older you get, the more powerful you get. So Storm, as one of those Omega level mutants, that if you see her do something you've never seen before, that's because she can. And people don't get that. And the way they used her powers this year has been pretty cool. You saw in Black Panther 24, I think it was, where she merged powers with Spectra, Monica Rambeau. Spectra turned into pure energy, went into Storm, and Storm redirected that energy, kind of like Bishop does. You never seen Storm do that before. You use shit in that sword number 6 that Tamiko picked. You see her help to terraform a world, create an atmosphere for an entire planet. Like, yeah, I'm done. You never seen that before. Storm is a goddess, period. And they're really starting to show that. In this particular issue, Sword 8, it was a Storm, basically, soul story. Although she's the regent of the world, it's kind of like the challenge in Wakanda. Like, anyone can challenge for her for a right to sit on the throne. So the other thing about Storm is not just is she an Omega level mutant with powers with no end. Storm got hands. She got like good hands. So
and knives.
Expert blades person. And she hides blades throughout her entire uniform, body, whatever. And she shows you that she is a formidable warrior, even without her powers. And this is, if you're a Storm fan, you kind of need to have this in your collection, this particular issue. You have to. This is right up there with, in terms of significance, it's almost up there with Uncanny X-Men 201, where she beat Cyclops with no powers for leadership of the X-Men. It's almost that good. So that's my pick for number 4.
All right.
Yeah, Paul, a quick comment. Carlos Jackson. Carlos said Storm controls the elements, and that should not make her the most powerful of all mutants. I think he probably meant that should make her the most powerful.
Should that not make her the most powerful?
Oh, should that not? Okay, I got it. Yeah, so perfect.
I agree with you, Carlos. I think she is one of the most powerful. There are things that are because of the nature of her powers. Think about it. She can create like snow, kind of like Bobby Drake. She can create heat. She can create atmosphere. She can create water and rain, and she manipulates weather not just on Earth but on a cosmic scale. In one of the issues she had, as I said, this year has been a flex year for Storm. There was an issue of Annihilation Wakanda, right? It came out this year, Black Panther book, as a one shot, in which you see Storm manipulate cosmic winds, cosmic energy
in space.
If there's a more powerful X-Men, let me know. Because she's up there. Even Magneto going to be on pause when it comes to Storm.
Well, I just want to interject. Since
Don't
you
hate on my
went there,
girl.
I'm gonna go
Don't
there,
hate on the
Paul.
goddess. All right.
If anybody knows about them hands, it's your girl Shuri.
The comic book version, not the movie version.
I'm a preacher.
I
We
know.
put the
I
call on
even know where you're
prophet
going with this. Stop.
Shuri.
Stop.
Shuri, tell us about the
Oh
beats
Lord.
that's going out of throw.
Red lightning.
I'm just joking.
Moving on, as Herschel would say.
James voting for T'Challa and Storm back together.
I'm
James, they are still back. They are back together.
I'm just saying. Yes, y'all want
They
to
are back
recast
together,
T'Challa.
James.
Y'all want to recast T'Challa. I want Shuri to heal first.
Oh my God, Richard's going into troll mode. Who's next?
Okay. Come on, Richard. Bad Richard. I'm being nice to me. I'm being nice. Okay. My number 4.
Please.
Shifting gears. My number 4 is Strange Academy. And
I love that
with
cover.
my man, Dr. Voodoo on
That
the
cover
cover.
alone. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Dr. Voodoo is the, I guess you could say the, I don't know, schoolmaster at Strange Academy. And he's, of late, he's taken a more active role in the story. And it's one of my favorite, matter of fact, it's probably my most favorite Marvel book right now. Shout out to Scotty Young for doing this thing on Strange Academy. Strange Academy is a fun book to read. And for those of you who don't know what Strange Academy is, basically you get all of these occultic, supernatural beings and you put them in a school like Hogwarts. So basically it's Harry Potter meets Doctor Strange. And
it's New Mutants for Magic kids.
Yeah. It's interesting in that, with the continuum or whatever, Doctor Strange is past. They're choosing not to kind of like really deal with it, or at least they haven't really addressed it. Which I'm good with. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with. They're just kind to tell a story, and it's getting the story is pretty interesting. The last comic book that just came out had our dear sister in it, Marie Laveau, and she's the what I think it's the granddaughter of
Zoe
Voodoo
Laveau.
priestess. Zoe Laveau, I'm sorry. She's the granddaughter of Marie Laveau.
Right.
So they kind of delved a little bit went to New Orleans and they dug up some of her stuff and it was a pretty dope story. But Strange Academy is a dope book. If you're looking for something different to read and you have not tried Strange Academy, I'm telling you, this Strange Academy might actually do animation because it has a preteen fun type feel to it. So it's something that Disney could easily sell if they choose to do that. And what I like about it is that they're not really deep sinister with, because you're talking about occultic stuff. Your kids won't be exposed to some potion or spell. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's for everybody. You can't be tripping by it. So anyway, but that's my number 4. So that's what's up. Strange Academy. And Miss Tamiko, can you give us your number 3? And please don't hit me on the way out the door.
For a second.
Shout out to Shirley.
The greatest debut of a Green Lantern, a Black Green Lantern who is not John Stewart. I was a bit skeptical in the beginning, but once I heard that N.K. Jemisin was writing this, I said, okay, I'm in. I'm on. Because she is an awesome writer.
Yeah.
And Jamal Campbell is a great artist. So these two, they created what I consider the blackest Green Lantern book I have ever read. And I enjoyed every issue of it. And now, even better, she's now pretty much in the foreground for the current Green Lantern storyline, trying to figure out who wanted to take out all the Green Lanterns. So, Far Sector, that's my number 3.
Can I say something about that Far Sector? That is just
Mhm.
one of the most slept on runs. I would have included it, but it technically came out in 2020. But that is one of the most slept on. Look, M.K. Jemisin is a modern day Octavia Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Her world building on that series just cannot be overstated. She created an entire universe. If it had not been labeled Green Lantern, and then she could have literally just, it's almost I would say this, it's almost a shame that Sojourner Mullen was a Green Lantern. It would have, you would even argue that N.K. Jemisin could have created her own unique character with her own powers and built that world, and that world could be in any company. That could have been a Marvel character, DC, Indie, because it was that good of world building. And the fact that, and here's the other thing, that book is an Afrofuturism book, and you can't tell me different. As much as anything that Coates did on the intergalactic, world of Wakanda, whatever, that was an Afrofuturism book. And I don't know much about DC, but I don't know too many of those. So very well written book, and Jamal Campbell's artwork is outstanding in that run. If you haven't picked up Far Sector, you screwed up.
The trade paperback is out. Get it.
Well, we don't do trades, but yeah.
Derek, you're number 3, please, Derek.
All right, I'm gonna break the rules one more time, and I won't break it anymore.
Here comes another flex. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
It's not a 2021 book, but it is a 2021 read, and it is a book I picked up in 2021, and it's this weird fantasy.
See, I'm about to get off.
That's what's up.
So, this is like trolling in the 50s. The writers were trolling the readers basically in 1953. It's a great story, but also I think it caused the readers to reflect on what they just read after you get to that last pane in the Judgment Day story, which is pretty important. So. Not trying to flex, but it's
you're not trying to flex, Derek. Come on, man.
My only
you don't pull out a book like that and say I'm not trying to flex. You know exactly, man.
Yes,
go ahead, Derek.
You know better.
All right, yeah. So that's my number 3.
Mr. Paul, your number 3.
Let me tell you, if this man pulls out an Eben, I'm leaving the show.
Mr. Paul, your number 3, please.
Somebody else has to market on those.
See, just the fact that he said that shows that he's looking. All right, let me go to my next book. This freaking guy. Jesus Christ. All right, so my next book, Icon and Rocket, number 3. As I said, Milestone's return is huge. This particular issue was a game changer. This is one of those things, and look, I've been a Milestone fan since the very beginning, day one. And one of the burning questions that they had in the original run was, why did August Freeman IV remain so silent? Why did he let slavery go on? Why didn't he stop it with his powers? I don't know if they really answered that in the original run. They said he was just he was kind of made up as kind of a black Republican conservative guy and left it at that. And that's not a criticism. I'm just, it wasn't really explored. This issue helped to address that in a way that was organic and made sense. it created a new nemesis, or gave you greater look at a nemesis for him. Introduced Zyomara, not introduced her, but got to see more of her, and expanded what we know of as the Milestone universe. They killed Superman. That might be kind of a spoiler, but very significant issue. This is the issue that made me stand up and say, "Oh my God, they're gonna do the damn thing in this book," or collectively, Milestone. They threw their gauntlet down on with this issue. Reggie Hudlin threw his gauntlet down and said, "Look, we're here. We're doing some stuff. You got to get this issue." So that's my number 3.
All right. So, guys, want to also, those of you that are watching us on Facebook, those of you watching us on YouTube, please stay tuned. We do have a special announcement, and we do have giveaways coming at you. Now, these giveaways, I'm gonna promise you, you're not gonna be able to sell the, be able to buy that Bentley, that Benz, or whatever it is you think you want to drive. But you can add a cool book to your collection either way. So we have a special, like I said, a special announcement later on as well. So please stay tuned for that. Now, my number 3 is actually this book. This is Green Lantern number 5. This is I pulled out this cover particularly. Paul, you were talking about Joe Mullen, and this is an amazing variant cover.
That's beautiful.
Juliet Nika did this cover, and so for those of you who are not reading Green Lantern,
why are you
I highly suggest that you do, because you have many Green Lanterns of color, whether you're talking about Simon Bass, Jessica Cruz, Teen Lantern, and of course the guy who's supposed to be his book, John Stewart. But Joe Mullen is the star of this show. Now, I will say that she's become the star of this show, but really before her, it was Jessica Cruz. Jessica Cruz, matter of fact, I recommend that you go back and you get Green Lantern Annual number 1.
Yeah.
Where Jessica Cruz becomes a Yellow Lantern.
Very significant.
Great story with Sinestro. Matter of fact, Sinestro is in this book as well. But for those of you that like Green Lantern as a character, you will love this particular run. Here's the thing about it. It's a slow burn. It is definitely a slow burn. The lanterns don't have rings. Joe Mullen has the only functional ring. And this is because her ring does not require a battery. Okay? Not a battery, a battery. Okay? So, they destroyed the battery on Oa, the big battery or whatever. So that's gone. So it's basically a whodunit story right now. We're still trying to figure out that. Now, John Stewart did get a upgrade. Thank God for small miracles. He did get an upgrade, but again, he's not the star of this book. It is Joe Mullen. So, yes.
So basically, what you're telling me is all the black people in this Green Lantern book have unique Green Lantern powers that separates them from the rest of the Lantern Corps, because
absolutely.
Joe Mullen's ring doesn't require a battery. Teen Lantern has a gauntlet that predates the rings, and John Stewart doesn't even need a ring anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't need a ring anymore. Here's the funny thing about it.
Black people got to glow up right now.
Yeah, this book.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate that?
I'm not. Well, we could, but again, it'll be a half a second. It won't be a minute. So, because you already know there's going to be a monkey wrench thrown in here somewhere. Now, this is the ongoing book. This is not a limited series. This is actually an ongoing run, which means that it may go 12 issues. However, I'm hoping that it pushes out somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 24. Jeffrey Thorne is doing his doggone thing on this book, and so it behooves us as collectors to have this in our collection, because this is a black man writing a book full of black people. Okay? Now, we can't complain. Let me talk about representation for a moment. People talk about representation. We need representation. We needed it. Why Marvel and DC ain't doing this? Why they Marvel? Well, here it is. You got a black character. No, I take it back. You don't have a black character. You have black characters with an S on the end. Okay? You have women of color. You have black women. You have young women. You have strong black men written by a book written by a black man. What is your excuse? You should have this book in your collection. That's all I'm saying. So, a lot of people are sleeping on this book. Now, I expect the white guys to sleep on this book because guess what? They don't too much care for John Stewart. John Stewart should be relegated behind Hal Jordan and that other, fool that they call Guy Gardner. And if you want to go even further back, Alan Scott for you old heads, okay? But John Stewart has not had a book of his own since Mosaic, okay? There's not a run that John Stewart is the main guy, okay? So, therefore, we can't talk about we like John Stewart or whatever, because let's just be honest. Most of us that are cult fans of John Stewart are fans of John Stewart based on the cartoon Justice League, if we're going to keep it a stack. Because you guys weren't reading John Stewart back in 73. You weren't even here in 73.
I was.
A lot of us wasn't even here in 73. I was here.
I was a babe.
But a lot of us weren't. And so we know, a lot of us know John Stewart from, this particular cartoon. And it's okay. I'm cool with that. But he has this story history, and it kind of mirrors the situation with Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman 204 book, the first appearance of Nubia. This Nubia that we have in the run, this is not the same Nubia. So again, DC is kind of, DC is giving us good books, but the truth of the matter is DC is late to the party.
Yeah.
I clap real light for DC because DC got over 300 black characters on their roster, and they just not starting to get their act together.
Hey, they're doing
Marvel?
their light. DC's doing their light reparations right now.
Well, I'll take it, but I'm gonna need a little bit more. I need a little bit more.
Not 40 acres of a mule, but 4 acres.
Anyway, that's my number 3. So, Tamiko, could you please bless us with your number 2? Get off my soapbox.
Wait, is it 2 or 3?
2.
No, it's 2.
2? We're at 2? Okay.
Yeah. That's you didn't separate. You already shared 5 books, Paul. Now,
I had an honorable mention. That's just honorable mention. It'd be disrespectful not to mention that.
Mm-hmm. Well, this here is my independent pick.
Darling, please. Yes.
Oh, Abbott.
Abbott.
But this is not really so much of the book, but of the comic studios, because I collect like 4 of these titles from Boom Studios.
Boom.
And I love them all. But this was the one that started the whole thing here, Abbott. A hard-nosed, chain-smoking investigative reporter.
Yep.
With the touch of the supernatural thrown in. With the touch of the supernatural.
Yeah, she's Lois Lane. Lois Lane with a fro.
Basically. And that's what drew me to this when I saw this, because I was sitting there thinking, okay, she's got natural hair. She's not the traditional lady, smoking. So, I had to do it. And then this is, of course, number 1 of the first 5-issue miniseries. She also has a second one called Abbott 1973, which goes on with her future as a light bringer.
That issue you're holding in your hand is the one issue I'm missing.
Number
from
1.
Series.
This is actually a second printing. I'm trying to hunt that first print. That's actually the second printing. Yeah. But
that original Abbott one is hard to find.
Yes, it is. Honorable mention from Boom Studios. E.
Man, Don't show me that, Eve. Come on, Tamiko.
This was pretty good. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was. It was. The
Eve
story,
was
I
dope.
think,
Eve was dope.
the
Eve was
story
dope.
was
Eve
shortened
was dope.
and kind of truncated by the last issue because I don't think they intended to drop it at that 5th issue. But for what it's worth, Eve is real good. And something, if you want to try to get your children into like reading comics, I have 2 sons. They don't like comics. I'm much unhappy about that. But anyway,
Wow.
this, you can pick this up so you can get your children interested, because then, of course, a little black girl trying to save the world in a post-apocalyptic setting. So that's pretty good.
You know what? You know what's funny, Tamiko? That book, the way it ended, a lot of people didn't like the way it ended. I personally loved the way it ended, and the reason why I love the way it ended, yes, let me tell you why. Let me get it back on my soapbox. The reason why I love the way it ended is that she, at the end of the day, she pollinated, or she planted seed. And if you are someone that is agricultural, even spiritual, you know the importance of sowing seed. You cannot reap a harvest if you do not sow a seed. Somebody need to pass the collection plate.
And she was able to save her sister, who we thought was lost in like a couple of issues. So
Richard's on his spiritual on one right now.
I'm just saying though, because we were looking for this. Here's the thing: we were looking for this grandiose ending, or so to speak, and it just basically had her just going to and fro, planting seeds to build trees.
And that's why I thought it was trash. Listen, I was the biggest fan of Eve. Eve started out so well. The writing was good. The art was excellent. The covers were fantastic. I was the biggest proponent. If you look at my Black Comic Prelords, telling you, I loved Eve. Love Eve. 1 through 4, issues 1 through 4, loved it. But that issue 5, it's like the comic companies either say, look, you have to have only 5 issues, and the artists kind of forget that. The creators forget that, and they kind of mash everything together in the last issue. I didn't like that. It's happened to me twice. I got burned twice this year on that.
No, you got burned one time. You got burned one time.
Twice. The other time was on Clans of Bellari, another book about a black girl. This one is set in the future. In this one, she wants to become a pilot, and this was a fantastic story. Good art, good writing, and then the book just ends. Let me.
No money in the budget.
The book stops.
No money in the budget.
It doesn't end.
No money in the budget.
The book, literally, you're turning the page. It stops. Not even a cliffhanger. Like they ran out of pages, and they just said, "Hey, let's just sell that."
Okay, Paul.
So Eve and Clans of Bellari burnt me. Eve wasn't. I agree with you, Eve was actually a really good book.
We're being positive tonight.
I'm still very bitter about issue 5.
Okay, we're being positive tonight, Paul.
That just upset me. Brought up
Derek,
some bad memories.
Would you be so kind to share us with your number 2?
Oh, so I'm upset. And your solution is to have Mr. Funk flex another damn book.
And for your record, you have my permission to flex hard on Paul right now. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Here we go.
So this one, it's more so about where this could go, but the Black Cotton series, and the reason for that is because the text is good, but I think the subtext and all the things that could have gotten this family in this world to where it is all in your imagination at this point, right? And you guys have talked to Patrick and Brian about where some of the history, but the fact is there's just so much that hasn't been said yet, and it's all in your imagination. And what if I had one wish for the series, though, it would be that maybe there's a companion that just gives a few tidbits about, how this world got to where it is. So that adds just a little bit more understanding to the overall series. But the flex part is the 9.9.
9.9.
That's right.
I so hate you. I so hate you.
He's
Too funny, man. Too funny. Oh, yeah, you know what? Black Cotton, hopefully with the next volume.
But at least my face is on it.
Yeah.
At least my face is on it, Derek.
Hopefully the next volume books, or issue number 7, which is due to come out early this year. I think March is the estimated date. That will give us some answers to that. You know what I'm saying? The backstory of how this world, this universe came to being. Because, and I'll be honest, I think for Black Cotton to be really taken serious as a enterprise, as an intellectual property, it's going to have to do a deep dive into that. Because unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, there are a lot of Black people that are up on Black Cotton. Black Cotton is in the stores because of Scout Comics. People love Scout Comics. It happens to be property of Scout Comics. Trouble is, a lot of us don't know. I've seen comments from people in our spaces and in other spaces talking about, well, I got the books, but I haven't yet read it. So what good is it for you to have these books and you don't even know what it's about? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, can people really take our books serious if we're not even reading and not talking about them enough? Shout out to the creators of Black Cotton, who helped facilitate our very own Black Comic Lords exclusive variant. Paul just showed you guys, and so for that we're grateful. But we're gonna push Black Cotton Volume 2 hard when it comes out, because we really want you guys to become invested in this property, because
Here's my flex, Derek. Here's my flex, damn it.
It has legs. It could go somewhere. So hopefully it does. Mr. Paul, you're number 2, sir. Without the negative energy, please.
What negative energy? You got Master Flex just stunting on all of us right now. 9.9. Like, who even heard? Who gets 9.9? Come on, man.
The first one I've seen. So yeah. Props, Derek.
I really don't like Derek anymore. All right. Number, what are we on? 2?
2.
All right. This is a book I've been talking about all year. This really should probably be my number 1, but my number 1 you guys can probably guess because of, my guy. But, I think this book is one of the most significant books to come out. One of the things that pops out in these spaces all the time is the concept of legacy characters when it comes to Black characters. So my pick is Mr. Miracle, Source of Freedom, issue specifically number 4, the whole run, but specifically issue 4. Issue 4 is where Brandon Easton, shout out to Brandon Easton, took the concept of a legacy character and turned it on its ear. How did he do that? Mr. Miracle's been around for a while. The original Mr. Miracle, as we know it, primarily is scot-free. And there's a whole backstory with the new gods and apocalypse and what have you. But he takes that backstory, and as I said before, the best retcons, in my opinion, the ones I like, are ones that aren't really retcons as much as the writer doing their homework and taking a flashlight and shining into the corner of the pre-established universe that no one's looking at. And by doing so, expand upon the pre-established universe. That's not a retcon. That's just good writing. And that's what Brandon Easton did. The only retcon per se is this character that you see in the lower left-hand part of the screen in the pink. Not him, but the guy he works for. The predecessor for Shiloh Norman, who's the protagonist, as it turns out, is his grandfather. Spoiler alert. That one little twist, and then the definition of the background of the character, which has previously never been defined before, to my knowledge, showed that Shiloh Norman actually is the rightful heir to the mother box that gives the powers of Mr. Miracle. So it's not a retcon per se, as much as an expanding upon the already existing mythos. And he did it so brilliantly. And he addresses the concept of what is a legacy character. And he addresses it in the way that you even see in that, where we previously talked about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, where we talked about how Sam Wilson never answered the question, why are you afraid to pick up the shield? In this instance, Shiloh Norman is asked repeatedly, why are you afraid to let people know that you're black as a superhero? And this issue kind of explores his fears and what motivates him. And it's just so incredibly well written. And I'm really not doing it justice, guys, but just trust me on this. If there's a series that you want that will make you think and that you think is significant, this is that series. I posted this before. I think he needs a Will Eisner Award for this particular run, and I'm dead ass serious about that. It is that significant in terms of the larger ramifications of Black superhero-dom. Significant issue. That's my number 2.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Now we had a comment in the chat. Kenneth Gardner, he asks, have y'all heard about Tuskegee? Black Sands Entertainment are unique studios in their comic books. Check them out. You will not, and believe you will not be disappointed. Oh,
Kenneth, you must be new here.
You talking about these guys? You talking about these guys, Black Sands? You talking about those guys? You talking about unique studios? You talking about these guys? You talking about unique studios. These guys. Oh, we're going even further with Stranger Comics. How about that? Niobe. Man, we the Black Comic Lords. Put some respect on our name, bruh.
That was a great question, Kenneth, but you got to be here for a little longer before you can ask questions like that.
Shout out to you, Kenneth, for bringing light to those. We are familiar with those properties, and we do talk about them from time to time.
And we do post upon them.
Those are my honorable mentions. For bringing that down for sure. So for my number 2, what did I skip? Now you already went your number 2, right, Derek?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. This is my number 2. This is an ongoing title. My favorite book, and that is Killadelphia by Rodney Barnes. This is issue number 18. What makes Killadelphia dope is that it is the comic book that continues to heal. And what I mean by that is that in this last story arc, we were introduced to Anansi, the spider god. For those of you who you woke, Black folk that like to talk about African spirituality and things of that nature, But Anansi, shows up on the scene, and he shows up because the character, the young man, his name escapes me, is seeking help to fight this war, and he even has a dialogue with Jesus. Now,
Seesaw.
Seesaw. Yes, his name. Seesaw. Perfect name for him. Because he is up and down. But anyway. So, but he goes to these different spiritual beings, and he comes across Anansi. Anansi is the only one that takes him up on his quote unquote offer for help. But here's the thing about Anansi. Nancy is a trickster. Nancy, listen, Maya Angelou said years ago, when people show you who they are, believe them. So a Nazi kind of shows up for a couple of issues, and then all of a sudden, he doesn't really offer any help. He's just like, I'm out. And the reason why I laughed at that is because, I think in a lot of ways, you pursue certain things for certain reasons. And so he thought that, talking about Seesaw, he thought that Anansi would be able to have, quote unquote, some significant power, not realizing that Anansi's power is really in the word itself, the ability to tell stories, myths, jokes, be a trickster, a prankster, those kind of things. Really wasn't his power set that he was looking for. And so a lot of times it's like, for us as human beings, we are always searching for something. I think that's the thing about Seesaw that we have to see in him as a part of the story arc that Rodney Barnes is telling, is that, people seek after things, because he talks to Buddha, he talks to Krishna, he talks to a plethora of different gods. And Anansi's the only one that takes him up on his offer. And the thing is that as human beings or whatever, it's just in our human nature to search out things. So even though there's this story of these vampires taking over Killadelphia, whatever, Rodney Barnes is blessing us with a deeper story of human beings and how they interact, how they function in a world of mythology, a world of spiritual, how can I put it? Of different spiritual mindsets and thoughts, if that makes any sense. I love the political and the historical application that Killadelphia affords, because I feel like I'm not just reading a horror story. I feel like I'm reading actually a history book with horror story elements.
Yeah.
So that's why Killadelphia is my favorite book. It's not my number one, but it's my favorite book to read at this point in 2021.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
if we had done this as a top 10, Killadelphia would certainly be on my list.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt. Tamiko, we're down to the numero uno.
Real quick, shout out to Kenneth Gardner. Appreciate the love. Appreciate your questions. I was just playing with you. Please keep asking questions. We're having fun.
Thanks. I already love you so much. Appreciate you. That's what's up.
So, my number one.
Let me go.
My number one. And this just came in, and I'm freshly obsessed. I had to go over this a couple of times.
Oh man,
Wonder Woman.
Speak on it, Tamiko. Go ahead and speak on it.
And this, of course, is Wonder Woman Historia, the DC Black Label. And this is the Olivier Coipel cover.
That's the only cover you want to get.
Yes. Black artist. I was just, I told you before, I'm an on and off Wonder Woman fan. So I was like, well, this cover looks pretty decent, and this looks to be a sister on it. So let me see what this is actually about. And this is actually the birth of the Amazons and what created the Amazons in their separate. And then they had 6 goddesses and Hera, who decided that they was just tired of Zeus and the other brother god stuff. So they came up to him and said, listen here, you're not going to be doing this to us women and we're not going to allow it. We're not having it. Zeus and the rest of them, of course, they laughed. They're like, "Hey, silly woman, you." So the 6 goddesses, outside of Hera, because Hera didn't want to go against Zeus, they decided, okay, you know what? If they think that they're going to keep messing with us and keep messing with women, we're going to create warriors to go against this. And I'm a reader. Richard warned me that, oh, it's wordy. I said, but I read. So that's not even a big thing. But what hit me was the art. The art was so beautiful and so lush.
Phil
and
Jimenez.
I'm sitting there, and I was like, I just didn't read it at first. I just looked at the pretty pictures because there was just.
Show the splash page. Show the splash page to Miko, the one everyone talks about.
Well, see,
the double page.
I'm upset about it because in this book it's cut off. I should have actually had a picture of it in its complete form all the way across. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, come on. Okay, I believe it's this one.
No, that's not it. That's the one I'm talking about. The next one. Next page.
The next one?
The one where all the Amazons are lined up.
Okay. Well, have to sit there and look through that. But anyway, the 6 goddesses. Oh, here we go. I think this is what
yes, that's the one.
This is the one you're talking about. And I would thought that this was just the greatest thing. Especially considering that most of these goddesses, they are women of color.
Yep.
And Aphrodite. Enough said. You'll have to get.
Can you show those panels again?
Let me see if I can bring it up.
We get it closer there.
Man, because I wish I'd actually pulled the panel online. I saw it, the whole complete.
Hold on, you keep going. I'll try and pull it up.
So anyway, these 6 goddesses got together, pulled their powers together, and they created the Amazons. And they created 6 tribes of Amazons. And these Amazons are, I tell you, they're badass. They are badass. And then in the back, they show you which tribe that the goddess had birthed, who was their queen, and the 4 Amazons to serve with her. And like I said, I was blown away. I got this, and I said, I'm going to buy another copy just so I can take pages out and display them, because these are worthy to be displayed.
The art is ridiculous. And let me pull this. Oh, damn it. What did I just do?
And it tells you which tribe and what their names is. And the beautiful thing about it is some characters that we are introduced in other companies and other places, they also have a place here, because they have a Niobe in the tribe of Athena. And let's see, they have the tribes, the different tribes and everything. And this is amazing.
Here,
and
check this out. This is the panel I was talking about.
Okay, there you go.
The artwork here, the detail is just crazy. Go ahead, Tamiko.
I saw a lot of fanboy comments, they're kind of not so happy with the direction that this book is taking. But you have to understand, when women get fed up, we do stuff. So this was the best introduction. This is a perfect thing there to describe the Amazons, where they came from, how they came to be. And let's see the artwork. Okay. Phil Jimenez, Killadelphia comic. Oh, all of them. If all of the books look like that, this will definitely be worth your purchase, because this is just book 1. So I just can't wait to see what book 2 looks like.
There's more than one book.
Yeah, it's a series.
It's a series. Yeah.
And it's
Now,
and it's called,
the issues only come out like one every 4 months for
Wonder
obvious
Woman.
reasons.
This is Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons. So yeah, book 2 is coming. Oh, and of course I forgot the hinge of this whole title. While describing how the Amazons came to be, there's also one particular person who's trying to find her way to them. Her name is Hippolyta. So we'll get to see if Hippolyta, how she gets to the Amazons in book 2.
Okay.
That's a
That's what's up.
fantastic
That's a dope
selection.
number one. Okay, Derek, you hit us with everything but the kitchen sink. What you got? What you got? Number one.
all right, this has already been covered before. It's Nita Hall's Nightmare Blog. I
That's what's up.
really enjoyed reading this. Actually, read 1 and 2, I guess about this past weekend, and really enjoyed it. I like the,
Mhm.
obviously you've got the current timeline, what's going on now, but it's also a timeline where you're kind of digging a little bit into Nita's past. She's had a tragic life, and she's trying to make something good out of that. The other thing I really like about it is there's another character that you meet in the present and that you meet in the past, and he's a singer, and I'm really interested in what happened to him, and I was intrigued by the vision that he had as a performer who knew he was going to make the big times, and I'm really wondering, what might have happened to him to get him to the state that he's in now. And there's one panel also where it sounds like maybe there's a Robert Johnson type of story with him, right? I'm not sure, but it's obvious when you look at that one picture, right, Richard? That's the first thing you think. So I'm just really interested in seeing where this goes and where Rodney's going to take us.
Yeah, no doubt. Rodney, we talked about this. We're gonna do a deep dive on Nita Hawes sometime early January. So y'all stay tuned for that. Also, those of you that's still with us, I want to say thank you for tuning in. We do have a giveaway coming up real shortly, and we got a big announcement as well. So just stay tuned for that. Let's see. Paul, you're number one.
I don't have a number one. I've got co-number ones. I can't be limited to 5 issues, man. It's just not going to happen.
This Negro here, boy. Give Negroes a rope. They want to be cowboys.
All right. Especially after binging
give us your number one part. Your number one, part 1 and part 2. What you got?
My number one, part 1, is obviously Black Panther. King in Black, Black Panther. This issue right here. Written by Jeffrey Thorne. The single best one-shot I've ever seen Black Panther have ever. That's it. That's the review. This book has everything. It has story, it has action, it has intrigue, it has surprises, has fantastic art, has a love story. Everything you could, it has expounding, it even expanded upon the Black Panther mythos. It showed you some more stuff about Wakanda you didn't know about. Jeffrey Thorne did in one issue what some Black Panther writers haven't done like a whole run. He did it in one issue. This man needs to be a Black Panther writer at some point. And if I ever get a chance to interview him, I will beg him to do so. Fantastic issue. So that's the one issue. The other issue, which you can pretty much guess, Black Panther 24 And I would say Black Panther 25. It's kind of a 24-25 thing. But this particular issue is important for the cover alone.
Are you going to put it on the screen, Paul?
Is it not on the screen?
Right now, what we see is still the Black Panther 1.
All right. Let me switch screens. There we go. So this cover has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black superheroes on it. I don't know of a single Marvel book, and I've been reading Marvel since I was 4. I've never seen a comic book that Marvel has with 10 black superheroes on it. This is a historically significant issue for this fact alone. Then when you get into the interiors, and you see this splash page.
Oh.
I mean, this is some MCU level type stuff, right? If you're redoing Avengers Infinity War, where they invaded Wakanda, and you've got all these Avengers defending Wakanda, but all the Avengers they picked were black, that's this. That's what this is. I ran through the book once and counted. There are 16 black superheroes in this issue alone. Not a single white superhero. It is the blackest superhero book Marvel has ever made. You cannot understate the historical significance of this book. And the reason I say issue 25 is the other big issue is because that is when T'Challa became the Emperor of Wakanda. So those are my number ones. It's really like 3 issues.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we are short for time, but we're gonna go ahead and move this thing along. Like Paul, I do have a part 1 and part 2, number 1, but my part 1, I should say number 1, part 2, I'll go in that direction, would be Black Panther, the King in Black one shot. Also, my number 1, give me just a second here. I am actually typing something for the chat. Now, my number 1 is this book here. This is hardware number 1. Number 1. This is Dennis. This is the variant, the Dennis Cowan variant, which I believe it to be a tribute to Brother Man, the character, the style of the art. Reminds me of Brother Man that was put out in the 90s by Guy Sims. The reason why I picked this to be my number 1. Huh? No, this is Dennis Cowan and Sotomayor. They did the art on both on this.
Okay.
But the reason why I picked this book is because when the first book came out, which was Static, written by the Ayala.
Why you gotta say it like that? Queen. Why you gotta say it like that, bro?
I said shout out to the Queen. I said shout out to the Queen. But when I first saw Static number 1, I was very disappointed, and I'm gonna tell you why I was disappointed. I was looking for my man. I was looking for Virgil. I was looking for Virgil Hawkins to be cracking jokes and snapping necks. But what I got was this emo, depressed, needed a hug, little Uzi Vert wannabe.
I thought we were being positive. I thought we were being positive.
I was very let down. Then we got the Icon and Rocket I was like, not really feeling it. Okay, Reggie, I see you working. It's okay. But when I got hardware #1, my man just brought it. This is what I had been looking for 30 years. This was a tribute to the old heads. And I know old people don't matter sometimes. But when it comes to all things Milestone, I'm sorry. I am that old dude. Get off my lawn. Little Uzi Vert, get off my lawn.
Oh,
You little hip hop head, get off my lawn. Bring me Virgil Hawkins, all his skinny, nerd cracking hysteria. That's what I wanted. I didn't get that. So
you're gonna throw it and make sure he pulls up his pants too.
Yes, make sure you pull up your pants too. How you gonna cry and have your pants hang your butt? That don't make no sense. But anyway, but when Curtis Metcalf showed up in his armor, doing damage, kicking butts and taking names, I was like, that's my Nia. So yes, this has been my favorite book for 2021. I read a lot of amazing books, but this book by far gave me all the feels, and I was just all in my feelings, when I read Hardware #1. So shout out to Dennis Cowan. Shout out to Brandon Thomas for writing a dope story that didn't forget about old heads like me. Old heads matter. So that's what's up. So that is our top 5 books of 2021. We counted somewhere like 30 some odd books with all of these extra books that Paul threw in. But anyway, we're going to switch gears and we're going to get to our giveaways. Now, I just hit my man Derek in the chat, direct message with these names: Carlos Jackson, Kenneth Gardner, Austin Crafton, Jonathan Taylor, Dwayne Hamlet, and Imani Lateef. Now,
where's my name?
You don't count.
I thought old heads count. I got gray
they
hair.
do, but not in this contest. So the reason why I chatted those names up, because these are the guys that were in the YouTube and in the Facebook chat. And so we're having a giveaway. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do this, but I decided to do something. I like calling audibles. My man decided that he wanted to put up 3,000 different books while he's doing a top 5. I'm like, okay, I can live with that. So maybe they can live with this. So what I'm going to do, Carlos Jackson, Kenneth Gardner, Austin Crafton, Jonathan Taylor, Dwayne Hamlet, and Imani Lateef. If you guys send us an email to blackcomiclords@gmail.com, we need your address, because what we're going to do, what I'm going to do, now I want you guys to be mindful that the book that I'm going to send you guys are not 9, it's not a 9/8. These books are not perfect. These books are defective, but they're new books. I'm going to send you a copy of the Black Comic Lords exclusive, Black Cotton issue #6. I'm going to send you a copy of this book. It's not a perfect book, but if you want a copy of this book, send us an email. You have 24 hours to send me your information, to send our information. Send us an email, which means you need to do that tonight or tomorrow before 9:51 p.m. tomorrow night. You got 24 hours to send us an address. Go ahead.
And again, that's Carlos Jackson, Kenneth Gardner, Austin Crafton, Jonathan Taylor, Dwayne Hamlet, and Imani Lateef.
Yes, those are the guys who hung out with us and made a comment. And so I wanted to just be a blessing. I want to send you guys a book of our exclusive We want to thank you for participating with us on tonight, just hanging out with your boys and girl and talking comics, which is what we love to do. Now we get to the big reveal. First of all, I want to just stop a moment and say that when you believe in something, you'll do what you only believe. You will only do what you believe. And when you believe in something, you'll do what it takes to make it possible. And so this has been a labor of love for me, Paul, and Herschel, and Derek, and Tamiko. And so I'm going to let Paul do this because, you know, that's my guy. He's the lawyer of the group. So you ain't going to sue me, you're going to sue him.
You can try.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about. Talk your talk, Paul. Talk your talk, my dude. But anyway, Paul, could you please reveal to the audience, to the Black Comic Lords, to the Black Superheroes Forever, to the whole entire world, what do Black Comic Lords have in store?
All right. So if you're not evolving, you're dying. And we have been blessed and fortunate enough in 2021 to evolve, get bigger, get better within the Black Comic Lord space. And I want to send a special shout out to Derek and Tamiko for helping us get better and bigger. Special shout out to you guys for putting up with us, because me, Herschel, and Richard are characters. We have been working very hard, particularly Herschel and Derek, on establishing for us a website where all thing Black Comic Lords can be found. A hub, so to speak, of who we are and what we are and what we do. Derek, if you would you please share blackcomiclords.net?
All right. So here's the page. Let me get rid of this. So this is blackcomiclords.net. It's not .com, .net. And on blackcomiclords.net, you can get a lot of information. You still able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first
What
of all,
what are we looking at over here on the left side of the screen?
yeah, so on the left-hand side, you've got all the different platforms where you can connect with Black Comic Lords. You got your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and then just email. So, hey, you want to follow us, you want to join, easy to find that. We move over to the right-hand side. We've also got a Facebook link to Black Superheroes Forever as well. So
Our affiliate group.
Our affiliate group. I don't know if the audio is going to play, but we have a great reflections video voiced by our none other than Richard. I call him the voice.
King Richard, the Panther Heart.
Can we hear this? Let me play it and see if you hear it.
Nope, no sound.
Nope. Okay, I can hear it in my ears. You can't. You need to come to this site and listen to it. Great reflections. And then obviously what we're about.
Whoa, what are these tabs, Derek?
Oh, okay. So we've got quite a few different tabs here. First of all, we've got Bcl Blogs. And I think most of you are aware, Richard pumps out content, it's about weekly blog content. So all that content you can find here.
For those of you on the page that actually enjoy reading, as we all should, given the medium, I highly recommend that you check out Richard's blogs, Blackwards Living, for more of what Richard does.
So, great reads. We also have a section called Creatives Corner because, as you know, we've had interviews with creatives, and we've got links to those videos here. So Herschel's latest interviews, part 1 and 2, with Mario Gully, and going all the way back to Kevin Greavy, and the Wanda Whiskey Flirtum and Bourbon chats with creatives.
Those guys are
So, so key is, if you want to go back in history and see what we've done, it's all here on this site.
Wow, it's pretty exciting. What else you got for us there?
I'm gonna skip this one. This is the last one we'll cover. We'll go to the FOC and National Comic Book Day. Now, we've had some chats about the importance of FOC. As a community, if we want our books and the books that we talk about to continue to be produced, is really important that not only do we pre-order those books, but we actually pre-order them before the final order cutoff, because
that's what FOC stands for.
Yeah, FOC is final order cutoff, and that's the actual number that means what you order is actually going to be included in what the publisher sees. That's your vote, right? If you don't pre-order at that point in time, then your vote doesn't count. So that's really important. So obviously, Paul has been sharing his FOC lists. He's done them previously in videos. We've got the latest one for January 2nd here on the page. And going forward, we intend to have the FOC picks right here on the page. So I'll click through and show you today's, so you can see Paul's picks for today.
The other thing about the importance of FOCs, and Derek was cool in pointing this out. FOCs are important to order your comics ahead of time. Don't just wait until the day that they come out, for a number of reasons. One, you're not going to be guaranteed that you go down to your LCS and you're going to have that book available. Two, when you order by the final order cutoff, most stores, whether it be online or your LCS, will offer you a discount for doing that.
Absolutely.
For those of you on a budget like myself, when it comes to these comics, having a 10, 15, up to 35, I've seen even a 40% off of new comics because you pre-ordered them. It makes a big difference. But more importantly, ordering your comics before the FOC allows your LCS to know how many comics to order, but it also lets the publisher know what are people interested in buying. It is your vote. Do not complain that you do not have the comics that you want being made. Do not complain that the characters that you want to see get more shine don't get it. If you're not pre-ordering those comics ahead of time to let the publishers know that you're interested, that's an argument you don't really get to make. Because that's like saying, I don't like the way the country's running, but you never vote. FOCs, ordering by FOCs, that's your vote. That's what lets the companies know what will sell. This is a business. They need to know what will sell and what will not. And that's how you make your vote and have your voice be heard. What else you got, Derek?
All right. So we've got news, rumors, and speculation. So from time to time, there'll be some information that comes out. Hey, we'll grab some of those, put them on the website here, so it's easy to find in one place. We've got.
Let me do a little legal disclaimer.
Okay.
Please do not hold us accountable for anything that's on that page. It's news, rumors, speculation.
This is curated. Yeah, this
Huh?
is curated content. We're just sharing things that are already out there.
Yeah, but to the extent that that's not a sufficient enough disclaimer, we will not be responsible for any bad purchases you make as a result of anything that's put on that page.
Yeah, if you paid $200 for a book that was $2 yesterday, and that book tanks, sorry, that's your loss.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. What else we got, Derek?
Within your budget.
So we also have some key Black comic alerts. So from time to time, there might be something that happens that causes us to say, hey, maybe you want to look for those for some certain books. So right now we've got Amazing Spider-Man 10, first appearance of Spider-Punk. But from time to time,
we haven't
you'll see that be updated.
The newest issue of Moon Knight, which goes into the origin of the Hunter's Moon.
I guess we need to add that one, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, all right. By the way, that's a good point. and we'll get to this on the next one. So I'm going to go back to this Black Issue Explorer. Actually, let me go down the screen first of all. We also have on the page latest updates, the last things to hit the site, a listing of our blog topics, Creatives Corner once again, news and speculation, and then at the bottom you'll see what we're calling the Black Issue Explorer. So
what the devil is that?
Yeah, what is this? So what we've done, and this is always a work in progress. So don't come here and think you're going to find everything that's important in Black comics. But what we have done is we've started to create listings of Black keys, Black grails, other noteworthy comics, and even some controversial ones as well. And we've categorized them that way, but also by the age that they came out in. So let's say I want to see some golden age books that are important to our community, right? Well, you've got them here. You can click on it and learn a bit more about it. Let's click on All Negro Comics, for example.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, that one might be a little bit noteworthy, right? So come here, find out a little bit about it. This probably isn't the best example because we're still filling out some of the information, but for a lot of these, you're also going to get eBay links as well. I'm looking for one where you'll see the eBay link here. We'll try this one.
I really wish I had that Weird Fantasy 18. Whoever has that is a lucky guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
let's go to some Silver Age here. So let's see if we got it here. Yeah, so you've got to find on eBay as well. So you can click straight through and then
wait. So pause. So what you're saying is I can scroll through this list of these very important Black comics of significance, and if I find something I like on the page, I can actually click on it and order it directly on the page without having to do a whole bunch of research.
Absolutely. And then furthermore, once we get all the links on, and they're on some of the pages, not on all of them, not only can you see what you can buy one for, you can also pull up a link to see what the last one sold for on eBay as well. So you have both sides of the information you need to make your purchases.
Oh, damn, that's better than Key Collector.
Yeah. So I'll pull up an example of that. Maybe we'll find one in Modern here. So yeah, we'll do it for this one, Amazing Spider-Man 10. So we can see some recent sold prices for Amazing Spider-Man 10. Save you a little bit of time.
Oh, damn, I've got that issue. I didn't know it would cost that much.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. All right. So that's your Black Issue Explorer. There's also another way to reach it. If you come to the top of the page, you can get a full listing here. So this is just going to keep on refreshing as you move your way down the page. And you can also choose what you want to look at. So, hey, I want to see the
Black. Click on that Blue Marvel?
Oh, sure. You look at some prices?
I want to look at some prices.
Okay, sold prices, I'm guessing. Oh, wait a minute.
Why does that say $7? Is that for sale right now?
I don't know. I'm going to click through on this one.
All right, so we're gonna have to end this discussion. I've got to go on
eBay. That's an interesting one. Somebody jumped on that one quickly. Probably somebody in the community. But you can see what they've sold for recently, right here on the page. Want to turn around and see what you can buy it for? Click the find on eBay. Yeah, that's crazy. I know what I should have been doing on December 29th, yesterday. And here's what you can buy one for. So save you a little bit of time. Come back here. You want to see the grails. You want to see the keys. If you have some feedback for us on how we can improve it, some books that we need to add, we're always going to have things to add. Just, hit us up on our email address. And if I go back to the main page, so you can also access Black Issue Explorer here through the Moon Girl link. There's another key one that I'm actually going to hand off to Tamiko for. So, Tamiko, you want to take this one?
I sure will. So, do you want to support Black Comic Lords? You want to have something nice to show everybody that you know about Black comics? Well, here's the place to go. You go to the Black Comic Lord store. We have merch, y'all. This pandemic, it's just never ending. So get your masks. We have Black Comic Lord masks. We have gifts for that Black comic head in your life. hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, socks, backpacks, you name it, we got it here at the Black Comic Lord store. We have
So you're
everything
saying you
you
can
need.
up your drip with some BCL swag.
That's right. We have everything
Oh, that's
you
so
need
cool.
to rep the Black Comic Lords in style.
So
Hey,
where do we
click
go
on
in those
that-
masks?
Click on that design with the words on it. What is that?
Oh, this one here. Let's take a look at this. Here's a nice mouse pad.
All right. You have of course, the outline of the Black Comic Lords logo, and we have names of the Black comic characters that you should know.
Those are all Black comic characters on there?
All of them.
Yeah, that's a dope design.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And where do we find those masks? Oh, here it is. I see it now.
There you
Right
go.
here.
So you have,
snap.
if you click it, you have the flat masks for the children. Keep your children masked up. Keep them safe. And if you click on one, say, oh, click on that one right there.
This one? Okay.
Yes. Are you approved by the Black Comic Lords Authority?
Yeah, this lady is approved by.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, we didn't select the models,
We
y'all.
we can't help them. But if you hit the type, all right, because this is the flat mask. Now hit the type, and you should be able to get the fitted 3-layer.
Oh, okay.
Now those are nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Fitted 3-layer.
So show everybody that you are approved by the Black Comic Lord Authority. And try to keep away from that Omicron.
Yeah.
So we have
anything else is noteworthy you want to share?
well, we have the t-shirts, we have the hats, socks.
What are some hats? The socks?
Someone had requested socks. So there you go.
Oh snap. We
You
got
wanna
socks.
step up your style? We got Black Comic Lord socks. And all the designs.
There we go. How about some water bottles?
Water bottles, coffee mugs, travel mugs. We have it all.
Nice. All right.
So anything you need, come on by the Black Comic Lord store.
Get your gear right for the next con.
All right. So, and that's the website. Oh, one other thing, we've got our Instagram feed here, so you'll see everything that's ever been posted to our Instagram. Herschel's adding to that just about daily, if not more often. So come here and see those too. Yeah. So our vision going forward is that we can make the content easier to find, and the content that we want to last and to float to the top, always float to the top for our community. So this will be the place where hopefully, we'll have the history of what we've done and make it easier to find the most important things that we're sharing. And
listen, y'all, this BCL is primarily an educational forum. We not everybody knows everything. Anyone that tells you they know everything doesn't know what they're talking about. But this is a place where we can all share our knowledge about these characters and these comics. And that's the real goal here. That's really the impetus behind this page, is to have a repository or to curate all this information. So to make this page better, we're going to require all of you. If you know of other significant issues, or you have some comments or some input, some things that you think might be noteworthy, let us know. Email us. Derek can put our email address on there. It's right there on the page on the left-hand side there. Just email us and please give us input so we can make the page better, because this is our page. It's not just not just the 5 of us. It's all of yours. And we need your help to make it better.
Yep, absolutely. Sorry, I'm trying to get this email just pulled back up. There we go.
There we go. Again, shout out to Derek and Herschel for getting a lot of the legs on this thing going. Shout out to Tamiko for setting up our merch store. And shout out to Richard for giving us his weekly words of wisdom in our blogs. Real cool stuff. Very proud of this.
All right. Hey, help us spread the word on our communities. We want everybody to know about it and see it, and you'll be seeing more from it. Back to Richard.
Richard, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I am here. Guys, and as we getting ready to bring this to an end, I want you guys also to understand and know that, you know, this is definitely a labor of love. But with all things labor, it costs. And so we are also offering or soliciting, I should say, your financial help. You can support us through buying merch, of course, or you could donate to our PayPal, Black Comic Lords. I don't know if we could pull up our PayPal, but if you want to donate a little bit of money, you know, sow a seed into some good ground to run this website, to do the things that we need to do, to give you guys good content and to give you guys tech-worthy content, if that makes any sense. It costs. And, you know, we're going to do what it takes to keep this thing going, but we're openly soliciting your help, your resources in terms of your knowledge, like Paul said. We don't know everything. We never will claim to know that. Black Comic Lords is a movement. It's not a, you know, it's just not one or two guys just having fun with fandom. We're really trying to elevate our hobby to a respectable place where, you know, conventions, professors, academics, people like that begin to, you know, take notice and take their cues from fans. You know, back when I was a stock boy at Walgreens, I learned something from my manager, and he was the first one that ever told me this: the customer is always right. And so you guys are all customers in this hobby. You buy the books, you read the books, you know more about the books than the people that's printing the books. Matter of fact, we wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for Marvel and DC. Ain't that right, Paul? If it wasn't for people in certain books, I won't say what they are, but if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. With a smirk on my face and being facetious. But real seriously, guys, we really want this thing to really grow, and we need your help. And so we solicit your funds, we solicit your well wishes, we solicit your help. And if you have great ideas, send us an email at blackcomiclords@gmail.com. Also, for those of you on YouTube, for those of you on Facebook, you know, subscribe to our YouTube page, you know, subscribe to our Twitter, subscribe to our Instagram, you know, send us emails, give us, you know, let the email be a suggestion box, you know, and we're going to take to heart what you say to us. You know, if you think we can improve on something, we'll consider it. You know, this is our space. This doesn't just belong to one person. This is our space. And so we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We are a little of it 2 hours and coming up on 15 minutes. So it's time to wrap it up. So guys, I want to, before we shut it down, last comments, questions, concerns. All hearts are clear? Okay, we got
I will
one.
say that ride with us, everyone, because we got some cool things coming up.
Yes, absolutely. This is just the beginning. We want to drop this, guys, before the new year started. The website is live, but we are probably actively not going to like really interact and do things with it, you know, officially until the 1st, which is Saturday. So either way, you know, get you some cool merch, get you a t-shirt. Everybody loves a t-shirt. Everybody loves adult mask. Some socks, you know, that's what's up. I even saw water bottles on. So yeah, we got some dope stuff for you guys. So just check us out, peruse the site, you know what I'm saying, get some information, you know, learn about these characters, learn about your characters, learn about your history, learn about your favorite comic book character. We're adding to this site daily, and this is not a complete exhaustive database of superheroes, because there are so many more characters we have to add. And so we also ask that you would solicit to us those characters that you want to see on the site as well, because again, we are all Black Comic Lords, and that's what's up. So from Derek to Miko and Paul and yours truly, we want to thank you guys for coming out, hanging out with us. Please remember those names that we did mention earlier. You have less than 24 hours to send us an email so I can get that book to you guys in the mail. God bless you. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful night. And until next time, peace. Let's go, y'all.